You have a device on your wrist that has all the features on your smartphone. It also keeps track of your health in various records. In terms of love in your heart, on how many beats per minute is based, or in terms of comfort, in and out, like oxygen level, where you see yourself breathing deep into the atmosphere. As you circulate a cycle of oxygen for as long as you can handle. In this video, I am more than delighted to review one device that could change your life and mine's by doing this. This is an Apple Watch Series 8, Apple's most current smartwatch of the entire Apple Watch lineup. In the tech world, smartwatches have begun with various accessibilities on their wrists. And there are a few versions of this series, which still remains by structures and colors. But the one I've been gifted was something that was determined to be called basic. This was gifted by my father for encouraging me to finish my college career very soon. And I felt very proud to earn it. It is meaningful and it's also necessary for me. I'll explain the necessities and abilities on the watch later. But as of now, let's take a look at the appearance and the specifications. It looks phenomenal, just like a mini iPhone, but small. Well, apparently that's how they call it an Apple Watch. But this thing cannot be called an Apple Watch without a wristband. And you have to be aware of the size of the wristband on both the watch and your wrist completely. For the watch, there are two sizes of this series. One is 41mm, which is the small size, and the largest is the 45mm. And in which case, I got the big one, and my older sister gets a small one. And they're both colored in black. One of the other three colors of the base model. So with the parts of the wristband slotting into the device, it is ready to go for a run. The perfect base product, starting from $400, is a great start for beginners. And that works for me. Now, full disclosure, there is an opening gap on one side of the Apple Watch that automatically sprays out water after its water-resistant residue. Now, I don't usually have my watch at a wet substance, so... Oh, give me a second. Had to put the passcode. For that reason, I've already paired my watch to my iPhone, which means it is already ready. There are 2 buttons on it. The bottom one is the multitasker and the power, and the top button is the crown to home, with the knob that you can twist on. A watch like this in front of you is so handy and so productive that you could do anything without taking your phone out of your pocket, and even looking out for the clock time at the same time. Anything like making a phone call, seeking through contacts, dialing, and even voicemail. I'm surprised that a watch like that could be done, like I said, without taking your phone out of your pocket. It also has some utilities, like a calculator, where you could cheat on math the other way around. For the kids at school, forgive me. The alarm clock, which we will get into momentarily. Also, we have the world clock, sleep zones, where it detects how long you've been sleeping for. Then there are accessibilities in terms of health, like your heart rate, determining how recent or how current your actual heart rate record is. You can also have your heart rate set up in average manually by using ECG or electrocardiogram. Also in the meantime, so does the blood oxygen level, which needs to be successful by requirement, as in being placed on the wrist. But the coolest feature by far that I could have, out of all the features that became the best part of my content, has to be the camera remote. You don't even need to go back to your phone all the time to press record or take a photo by countdown. This never gets any better than this, one way or another. So with that being said, I showed you enough of introducing the watch and how it represents the culture of a historic who invents time through space. I don't even know how they got that either. But anyways, on to wearing it on my wrist at last. Except for this one. This is my very first smartwatch. The Fitbit Inspire. Well, was. And it doesn't look smart at all. It just shows the basic specifications of fitness. Insisted by my older sister, this was worth $50. And it's kind of useful just to hold some of the health records. Which is not going to happen this time, because I'm moving on to the next stage of technology. And it's sitting right in front of me. So on for the wear, along with the passcode. Just this one loop, and we're ready to go. I'm happy on how I got it on me, though somehow I'm convinced of trying to show you more of how useful it is. So why would I just flip that for you? Another loop from here, and that should do it. Okay, now we're rolling. With the passcode. Okay, now we're rolling. So the idea of my usage of this watch, among the rest of the features that is useful for me, one of them has to be the most important part of my life. And that, my friends, has to be fitness. About a month ago, I applied to the nearest gym possible to give myself a chance to take my living to the next level. Like walking, indoor and outdoor. Running, indoor and outdoor. And even cycling, again, indoor and outdoor. Enough with the gags! And there's a whole lot more where they came from. The list goes on. Plus, you can add your own workout by tapping at the bottom section. Countless choices to make when attempting every single exercise. But those exercises could matter or not when you're persuaded to attempt your activity goals. 3 to be exact. And that depends on your fitness hobbies and action of what you do. Here are the 3 rings of your activity goals: calories, exercise, and standing. And if you circle these 3 rings at once, comes an element of surprise. Oh yeah. Determining these rings by color and by order, I'll be sure to know on how good my results will be. I mean, this watch is the next level of true identity. The sparks of accomplishment stack sights. Another best part of the Apple Watch has to be the navigation system on maps, to let me find my destination that is being mentioned on my wrist. No need for CarPlay in my car, that's for sure. However, I find it silly enough to find 2 ways to end the route. One of them is the letter X to end the route instantly, and the other side is those 3 dots that has the option to resume or end the route. Then at the center, you have an open map, as it shows where I am now, and swipe around to know the rest of the streets and routes. So let's say I'm driving en route. Trying to approach to my destination will say on how far I am to my next direction. And as I'm close by that, the watch notifies me to prepare for my next move. Totally useful. There's also a compass in terms of navigation. Now from my experience, in case I travel across the world, I can always have the guidance to go to places I need to go without getting lost. Now, another best part of this watch that I always needed the most in ways of waking up all the time is the alarm clock. Well, let me tell you, I had a very hard time waking up, whether it's in the early morning or the late morning. I can't even tell what it's like to have coffee either. But afterwards, you can always feel the vibration while you're hearing it. It also has options to snooze and lose, or to stop and drop. But if you forget to set up your alarm, your iPhone is right next to you. With your watch paired up, you can set up your alarm on your iPhone and fall into slumber. But you would be afraid of not waking up as the iPhone sounds at the first second, but then fades out at the next second. Well, how about now? Both devices on set. Thanks to the courtesy call of the Apple Watch. And I accidentally pressed stop. Well, let's hope the boss doesn't fire me. There's also the weather app. Why do we always have to watch TV when there are details of the weather that we should know about? I can look out for the temperature and conditions so that I don't have unprepared issues all the time. Okay, I think it's time to check my heart rate. On my own health benefit, there are 2 versions of heart rates. Firstly, I take the passion my own way with the ECG app. With the tap and hold of the crown button for 30 seconds, I have the first half of my average heart rate recorded, as it doubles the second half into beats per minute for my total average heart rate record. Secondly, I make sure that I know my actual heart rate instantly with the actual heart rate app, providing me the current heartbeats per minute, second after second. Another heart benefit of mine will be the blood oxygen level, raised up horizontally for 15 seconds to let the sensor do the job, so that I will know how well I breathe in the future. And then the rest of the show is based on the notification center, swiping from top to bottom. And mainly there comes another swipe from bottom to top, the control center. And I mentioned mainly because this 2 mask icon here is called theater mode. At the same time, I could save my battery charge for a day or two. And finally, I make sure I keep any device as cleansed as possible, without any tears or cracks or dents or scrapes. With the wristband taken off, I have a silicone case to be placed on to protect mostly the body of the device. Clever, isn't it? But not as clever as the screen, because the screen also needs to be protected. With the wristband off again, so does the case. I've also brought a screen protector to sometimes protect from any residue on the screen. Wetting it to clean the marks and bacteria. And to dry it. Plus, there are stickers to take off dust, crumbs, and chunks to make sure the screen is fully placed without leaving any bubbly air inside it. And then comes the screen protector, but not just any kind. This is also made from silicone. How come I never noticed that they could do it in iPhones as well? Weird. At my end, putting a screen protector is a headache. But in hindsight, as I said, making any device as cleansed as possible to see if trading in a new device is eligible for me. Overall, out of every other smartwatch that every other company has developed, the Apple Watch Series 8 has to be a go-to in terms of handy opportunities. Anything you do, everywhere you go, it is the best device, the best gift, and the best necessity I've ever earned, and I'll never forget it. You can have tools to use, you can have workouts to accomplish, you can have goals to achieve. Whatever Apple has done in the past to make people's satisfaction so unique, it brought the community of technology into many ways of making the future unimaginable. Besides the fact of having analog watches on your wrist, it's just too normal. I used to wear analog watches. The annoying part of these classies are dead batteries. Jewelers, no offense. But this watch will be my usage on my wrist. And that usage of mine has to be the tools and fitness. Now, if you'll excuse me noticing that it took me long enough to do a tech review, I got a lot of running to do.